Leo, the irritation you currently feel has a very important role to play in your life. Consciously merging with your anger yields very positive results. Let's do it. Hello, beautiful souls. Thank you guys so much for joining me here and welcome to my table. If you're new here, hello, my name is Zachary. It's nice to meet you. And if you're returning, it's good to see you guys again. Pull up a chair, my friends. I did save you a seat. So, my Leo friends and friends of Leo, welcome, welcome. It's good to see you guys again. Another round, come on in. I do have some messages that were pulled in meditation, some oracle cards, and then we'll get into the tarot as we do. So, Leo, the first thing that came through here, well, a couple things actually. Divine Rage. Divine Rage is a topic that's been kind of dancing around me this past month, couple of months, and I haven't really felt a specific attachment to any sign or even collectively. I have done some readings with the Morrigan. Kalima is one that's been around as well. And this feels very much like their energy, okay, this divine rage. The next thing that I was given was up and up, like on the up and up. Not the Target brand, on the up and up. So being positive, being in a good place, okay? This could even symbolize something like legal, something being legal, on the up and up. The next thing that I was given here was a scarab. So I was shown a scarab beetle with its wings unfurled. And the thing that I noticed about this is it wasn't holding a sun disk. So the way that I take that is the scarab being a form of protection, as it is. So there's protection for our emotions right now, specifically surrounding something like divine rage. And I did have a symbol actually come through. We'll go over here in a second too regarding this rage. So there is protection right now. What we're being asked to do is bring the sun disk in, which is the solar force consciousness. Okay. I know it symbolizes Ra, but in this situation, we're being asked to bring consciousness towards this feeling of rage. Like I said there in the beginning, consciously merging with your anger yields very positive results. So we'll get into the symbol here. The symbol that came through here, I'll show the camera. You can pause this to draw it out, and I'll give you instruction on how to utilize it as well. So this one is called Rage Reception, or Reception for Rage. So the point of this symbol here is to help move this energy in productive ways. When we're talking about divine rage specifically, this is an energy where something has been so defiled, the natural law has been broken to such a degree that there is an equal and opposing force that comes in as a correction. Anger being a bit of a corrective force. And what I mean by that is when our anger is present, it is because there is something that's been done that we are requesting, needing, wanting, whatever, for something to change regarding that, for corrective action. So the instructions for this are to draw it on a piece of paper and to hold this in your left hand. We're meditating with this when we do feel rage or when we're in a place where we can work on this. The intention is not to spiritually bypass this kind of situation. We're wanting to let it flow in proper channels. So the intention is to let this flow where it needs to go. You can also hold this in a situation where you are prepared to have to deal with divine rage. There are many different things that are going on these days. Okay, you guys, the intention is not to create a specific effect with this. It is to not overwhelm you, the container, as you are letting that emotion flow. So like I said, we're not shutting the emotion down. We're not aggravating the emotion either. So the conscious action here is letting it flow properly, okay, where it needs to go. And this is probably not like our neighbor or somebody at the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? After we utilize this symbol, we're being asked to burn it. So let's get further into this message here, you guys. The Wild Unknown Archetype deck is what I felt called to work with today, so I did. You got two, the New Pearl and Coagulation. So the New Pearl here to start. With the New Pearl coming through, this is grit, irritation, and waiting. This is something, the book, I liked this line here. The pearl forms slowly in the salty mouth of the oyster. Salty being like, maybe feeling a little bit of a chip. Maybe this is where the divine rage is coming. Maybe we're feeling a bit salty about something, right? This is okay. This is not, and I'm not talking about situations where we're just exacerbating emotion to exacerbate emotion. There's a reason why divine rage is present right now, you guys. And it feels like there's been a personal and direct intentional attack towards our identity. And we're feeling it. And Leo, I mean, being the sun there too, actually, I like that, seeing that in meditation here. You're being asked to step up here and be present in this way. Okay. So a pearl forming here, though. That grit, though, that irritation is what started the development of this pearl. This pearl is a component of your personality or character that has yet to be developed. Something very positive coming from an irritating situation. Okay. We'll get into this a little further. Coagulation being the next one that came through. So this is being solid, adherence, and stuckness. The part that really stood out to me here was merging with another and not losing the self. So along the lines of the divine rage here, it's very, very easy to lose ourselves in angry emotions like rage or wrath. We may start to see red, right? And not feel like we're in control of our actions. This is not something that we're being asked to do. This is why consciousness is coming into this situation so that we know what it is that we're doing. We're not being asked not to utilize that rage. We're being asked to be intelligent with it. It does not just get thrown on anybody who is in our vicinity, okay? That is, we're going to have a bad time, right? It's counterproductive to why that energy is there in the first place. Know who it is that you're angry at, okay? So becoming unstuck. And I feel like some of us are in this place where I don't know where this emotion is supposed to go. Well, it's certainly not our poison, and it's probably not your family or your neighbor's poison either. Okay? So getting clear on that is step one. All right. The next that came through here, Lightseer's, not Lightseer's Tarot, excuse me, the Starseed Oracle. Hediaeth, longing for home and homesick for the stars. So I feel like this is there is a bit of yearning for whatever it is that we feel is perfection when we're talking about coming back home or where we've come from. And I've talked about this a lot too. We've all come from many different places, certainly. And we're here now. And this is what the most important part is. So I take this as this isn't a time to tuck tail and run, Leo. Even if we feel overwhelmed with this emotion, utilize this symbol here if you are feeling overwhelmed with your own rage, to get a bit clearer picture on where it is that this needs to go. Okay, let's move forward here, you guys. There is not a perfect situation with this Hediaeth. There is not a perfect situation here to return to. Return. We are creating something new, okay? And I feel like this may be a part of where we're stuck too. Things are very hard right now. And there may be this desire to get the hell out of it. That's not a failure to feel that way. But if we're permanently sinking into that situation, we're not utilizing that expansive energy that divine rage really is. It's the same energy that allows a seed to push through its casing and grow. So this is kind of what we're talking about here. This is why we're not just throwing that energy out willy-nilly, okay? Because this has the opportunity to allow us to grow substantially, not just us, but those around us too, our reality. Okay? Okay. Let's go ahead and use the Wild Unknown Animal Oracle here. General energy, please, for Leo to start. What do we have going on for Leo? Ooh, the elephant. Ooh, almost dropped that. The elephant. So this is Ganesha, obliterator of obstacles, you guys. Sometimes this energy comes through presenting as a block to blow through another block. And I feel like this is apropos here with the rage reception here. We're being given an impasse. And the point of this is to show us that we need to break through where it is that we've merged with something else outside of ourselves that is not healthy or is not appropriate. This can be a person. We can be talking about codependent behavior. Okay. If we are merged with another, not that, it's a bad thing to have connections with another. If we lose ourselves, if we lose our energy in connection to another person, we've lost. The point is not to merge with another to that degree. Life wants us to be aware of our own perspective because nobody else has that. So when we're talking about this rage here too, if you're finding that you're running into block after block after block, try to take a breath and recognize that this too is a form of direction. There's also a gift or reward, treasure that comes with the elephant as well when we follow where it's leading us, okay? Use the symbol if you're having a hard time, if it's overwhelming to you, you guys. And like I said, this isn't spiritual bypassing. We're not getting rid of it. We're allowing it to show us where it ought to go, where it needs to go, okay? What is blocked here for Leo at this time, please? Whoa. Well, the whale. The dragon here at the bottom. This is the solar plexus chakra, our identity. I was just saying that at the beginning. This attack towards our identity, what we think of ourselves, what we see reflected in others. Okay. So the whale, what is blocked here right now? Depth, diving deep into our emotional space, which is exactly what we're talking about here with this rage, this divine rage. Divine rage can be super tricky because it's a powerful emotion. Just like joy, it can be, what is the word I'm looking for? Funneled. It can be funneled in a productive way. And this isn't to say, like, let's say you do have a family member or somebody from your childhood, caregiver, where there was some form of abuse, right? These are reasons to have rage. These are reasons to have divine rage. Where it gets tricky, though, is when we're not directing that to where it's supposed to go. And we're just allowing that to sit inside of us. That's kind of what I feel here. There's been some rage that's been sitting inside of us. You've been told to be a good kitty, Leo, and maybe you've listened. And I'm not saying that we need to go out and be reckless or anything like that, to be conscious towards where our emotional energy deserves to go. I feel like maybe there's been a little bit of avoiding taking this deep dive because it's intense. So what do we need then, please, Spirit? What do we need for Leo? What does Leo need? Oh, some play and some heart. Golden egg comes out here at the bottom. This is the heart chakra. The unstruck sound. I'm feeling this is attached to the pearl here. And what it is that Ganesha is working to obliterate for us, that block towards our own heart. That unstruck sound is our passion, what we want to experience here, the energy we do want to put out into the world. I feel like this is being blocked right now, though, because we are avoiding the yucky emotions, particularly wrath and rage. We could just sit with that emotion and let it be, but it needs to go somewhere. That is an emotion that needs to go somewhere. We'll get into that a little bit further. With the dolphin here, though, this is intelligence. You need conscious action towards what is going on right now. Maybe a little bit of play, too. Swimming. Yeah, water could be a good thing for you guys right now, too. To bathe, to cleanse, to ground, okay? Like I said, we're not like trying to just, oh, I just want this emotion to go away. That's just not how it works. It's just not how it works. Utilizing this emotion, I feel or this symbol could also be helpful in determining where it's coming from, which can be helpful for some of us, may not be necessary for all of us, okay? All right, let's get into this a little bit further, you guys. Oh, that's right. This was at the bottom. Thank you, Spirit. The Great Severing. I was told not to pull this into the reading, but it did stand out to me. The Great Severing, Mars energy, anger, conflict, and softening to love. So after I pulled Hideath, this is what came through on the bottom. Certainly, we are talking about Mars energy here. And great example, that same Mars energy that is passionate and can be angry can also be passionate in a positive way. Okay? Okay. Which tarot deck do we want to start with? This may hurt. So we do 2 decks for the signs, you guys, if you're new here. What do we have for Leo, please? We're going to look at your hopes and dreams first. Hopes and dreams for Leo. What does Leo need today? Or right now? Maybe a nap? Maybe you need a nap like me. Or like a month off. A month vacation. I'm so tired, you guys. I'm so tired. King of Cups. Okay, King of Cups here at the bottom, being your hopes and dreams. I do. This is perfect, actually. I do feel like you guys are wanting nothing more than a bit of emotional stability, even. Maybe you're feeling emotionally labile. There is an extreme swing between emotions. This is finding a nice centered experience. No matter what's going on around us, the storm may rage on, but we find that nice centered space in the middle. This doesn't mean that we're not feeling our emotions. It means that we're letting it flow. It means that we're not trying to grab the river, okay, in our hands. We see it and we're letting it flow in that experience. Makes sense. Makes sense for it to be your hope. Want to do Murder of Crows? Okay. Murder of Crows here for your second deck. I can get my fingers to work. My fingers! What do we have here, please, Spirit, for Leo? We'll do fear, aversion to start. Judgment. Here at the split is standing out. Maybe you are fearing judgment. The true meaning of judgment, though, is this process of doing this to ourselves. It can be negative, it can be burdensome, but it's also a positive effect as well to decide what it is about our experience we want to stay and what we don't want to stay. All right. I feel like there is a little bit of aversion towards that process right now. Like you're afraid to make the anger worse, but avoiding it is what's making the anger worse. Okay. The Wheel of Fortune here. Wheel of Fortune. This is your fear aversion. What I get from this is lack of control, you guys. The wheel keeps on turning. The wheel has its rotation outside of our desires, wants, or needs. It is the swing of the pendulum. So I feel like you guys are feeling a bit out of control right now, specifically emotionally. We live in a world, right? In a world where everybody has to be a certain way, where we're not allowed to show certain kinds of emotions, specifically like at work or, everything has to be this sanitized appearance. And I challenge you to not fall into that. Okay? Let yourself be a natural person because you are. All right. General. Let's look at the general energy for you guys here. Okay. 4 of Pentacles comes out to start. So I get this like an overclinging kind of energy. Back to flow here. These emotions need to flow. Like this anger is directing you to where it wants to be expressed. But if we're hanging on to an expectation, a program from when we were kids, I know, I grew up Mormon, LDS, till I was 17. And I went and saw the Book of Mormon stage production just a little bit ago around my birthday, actually. Finally was able to see it this year. And it was funny. There's a song in there called Turn It Off, Turn It Off. It's this joke of like whatever's going on, any of the bad, having same-sex thoughts, whoop, you lost this or whatever, just turn it off. Just switch it off like a light switch. And I know personally with that trauma made a lasting impact on the way that I experience this human life. Like it is so wrong to have anything other than a bright and shiny countenance. And that is something that structure encourages heavily because, well, it's a lot easier to approach somebody who is smiling all the time, but that's also not real. So that's kind of the gripping that I'm getting here. You're gripping onto a prescribed image. Interesting. That's what I'm getting. What it is that you've been taught how to be. Okay. What else here, please, for Leo? Yeah. 8 of Swords. This is a trap. Feeling stuck. And we had that with coagulation here. Merging with somebody else's expectation to the degree that we lose ourselves. This is a trap of the mind, though. It's not we're not really stuck. We believe that we're stuck. And bet, Leo, It's because you have an emotional experience that needs to be present, and you're fighting against another component of yourself, another voice inside of your experience that's probably not yours, the judge and jury, right? Saying that you need to let this go. The conundrum with this, though, is that in order to get out of this trap, you have to let it go. This is conflicting, though. So what I'm seeing is like you tap on someone's shoulder, like goose somebody, and they look the other direction, and you're over here, and they think it's somebody else. That kind of like mischievous energy here. This emotion is coming up and like tapping you on the shoulder, the other side, and you're like, "What is going on? who's who's doing that?" And so you're feeling stuck in this frustration, but you were taught or told you can only look left, right? As an example, you can look right though too. You are a free person. You're a free bitch. Genderless, of course. What else here, please, in the general for Leo? Any advice towards this? Happiness. New discoveries that lead to celebrations. Love yourself first. And then we have deception, false illusions, scarcity mentality, and falling into bad habits. If you're anything like me, this feels like it's applicable. When I was growing up, I was teased by my parents and subsequently the rest of my family to be angry. Like I wouldn't be angry, and then I would get this teasing of like, "Are you angry? Are you angry? Are you angry?" And then I would get to this point of like, "Well, fuck, now I'm angry, right? Now I'm angry," and then I would get punished for it. Then I would get punished for being angry. That's kind of the vibe that I feel here, you guys. So this programming, whether it's society, your caretakers, yourself, even at some point that adopted that belief that that is not okay. Well, in that instance, especially, I should have cut a bitch. You know what I mean? That is so foul and abusive. It's abusive to do this towards ourselves too, to keep us in this place, holding on to where we feel stuck, even though there is probably an understanding underneath everything, underneath it all, that we ought to express this in a healthy way. It's not our poison. Okay? Okay. So let's move on to the good stuff. Good stuff for Leo. Yay. Very good. Very good. 6 of Swords. So this is a transition, moving from where it's been difficult to where there is now peace. There is a sacrifice that needs to be made, a price to pay to take this trek, right? The snake here is chasing this person into calmer waters. We've had a lot of snake imagery coming through readings recently, and this is the year of the snake too. What I get from that is there's already a natural direction or flow, the river here, of where we're being led. And the way that we allow ourselves to take that journey is also by allowing our emotions to be present with us, or us to be present with our emotions, for the experience to be a present one, which means that we have to go back and deal with any of the emotion that we've kept locked away. It's difficult to have a present emotional experience and know that that's the case when we do have trauma that's been unhealed. You see what I'm saying? This is why it's so important to know ourselves. Okay, one of the reasons. But you're making a transition. Things about to get better, okay? What else here, please? Good stuff for Leo. 9 of Wands too. Yay. I feel you guys are moving into a space where you do learn, this process of learning. You're allowing yourself to express these emotions, especially divine rage. Divine rage can go into art, you guys. Divine rage can go into poetry, can go into painting, into writing, into singing, into dancing. To make a physical representation of an emotion, this is one of the most beautiful parts of being human. We are the only creatures here on this planet, in common knowledge anyway, for all intents and purposes, that is capable of doing that. This is an important part of who we are. The 9 of Wands, this is the wounded warrior, by the way. We may not be experiencing success right this second, but this is like throwing something at the wall. Chris Reck will say this on Menopon. Throwing something at the wall to see what sticks. Keep trying something new, okay? Art, poetry, find new ways to express this rage. Where you may feel thwarted to do so, find another path. Water always finds another path, which is our emotional realm. Water will find a way. Life will find a way, okay? What movie is that from? Yeah, I'd like to see if anybody gets that. So success is just around the river bend. Just around the river bend. Anything else here on the good stuff, please, for Leo? Boundaries. Know when to put up and let down your walls. So this is what you're being shown here with you trying new things, okay? To express this emotion. I'm seeing someone with like earbuds just dancing down the street. Like they don't even give a shit, right? Just getting so lost in that flow or in that music in that moment and letting the emotion be a part of your present experience. Boundaries with yourself, with your own heart is what I'm feeling, okay? You're getting better at this. All right, I love it. So, Leo, what we don't see coming, what might be a surprise, what is in the shadow? Four of Swords, yay. Hell yeah. This is rest. Little R&R, little Rachel Ray. This is healing of the heart, truly healing the heart. This divine rage, too, feels like, since we had the golden egg come through there, this feels like it's been a bit of a slow build. Kind of back to my example with my story. My goodness, I have had to heal a lot of anger stuff throughout my life, knowing when it's appropriate to be angry or that it is okay to be angry. But this can build up. So what you don't see coming is an actual opportunity to rest. The Three of Swords here is heartbreak and loss. Whatever, 26 on the timer, whatever initiated the divine rage or continues to poke that, finding a space where we are now sleeping underneath this and peacefully, soundly. It's not disturbing us anymore. What else here, please, and what we don't see coming for Leo? Da moon. Da moon, da moon. So this is our subconscious realm. It is fear. What we do to keep our fear safe. I feel like part of what we're not seeing here, Leo, is how we are afraid of what might happen if we express this emotion. Like I said, we're not just, blindly burning shit down. And I don't mean that literally. This is a very specific kind of directed action. I love that. Actually, in order to see, though, what is the fear, what is poking the bear is what I'm getting. We have to allow the sun to come through and illuminate that. The sun reflects off of the moon. And we have that in meditation too. Bringing conscious action. We're already protected. It's already safe for us to work through what is going on. The next step is to know that, is to see where it is that we are building protection around what we fear. Being ostracized. I don't know. What is the fear, you guys? You know what I mean? What is the fear? I'd love to hear that too. What is the fear if you just spoke your mind? And I don't mean to just be a dick. I think you understand where I'm coming from. What would happen if you were authentic all of the time? What is the fear? To be seen? Well, honey, Leo, you were made to be seen. You're made to be seen, okay? Anything else here in the shadow for Leo? Be open to change. I love it. Be receptive to new experiences. Change leads to growth. Allow yourself to be in fear, expecting the worst, afraid of failure, wasting time on negative thoughts. I was just asking, what is the fear? I feel like a part of the fear here is the change itself. What am I on the other side of that? Like, I'm used to containing this anger, this rage right now. What happens if I don't contain it? Again, I'm not encouraging anything of violence towards anything specific. Utilize this symbol here. That rage has somewhere it needs to go and wants to go, and there is a receptacle for it. And it's not you. You are not the receptacle for this, okay? Your challenge. Let's look at your challenge right now, your difficulty, Leo. The Chariot to start. So I was feeling, we just had, this is Cancer. We just had the sun move into Cancer. Jupiter is also in the sign of Cancer here. What I'm feeling from this is, so this is our home, nurturing as well. We are also feeling this energy, Leo. This is a time to learn how to properly nurture ourselves. The chariot here, though, as far as difficulty, movement, taking action, letting it flow. This does take courage. This does take faith. It takes a balance of the shadow and the light as well to move in the same direction. I feel like this rage, fear, this fear rage, is keeping us spinning in circles. And that sucks, right? That sucks. Five of Swords here too. As far as your difficulty goes with the chariot, this is conflict. It's fighting for the sake of fighting. I feel like you're running into, both with yourself and with others, Leo, especially with the anger or the rage, like people are just shutting you down, including yourself. Nobody wins when it's just a dick measuring contest here, okay? I get kind of that energy of like a parent, mother maybe, with that cancer energy towards a child where they're just like, they can't do it anymore and they snap at them, kind of thing. And this becoming a permanent structure in your experience. We all have limits, of course, right? We're being asked not to engage with the conflict. And the conflict here is you repressing, Leo, it's repressing that anger or rage. Ooh, trade the sword for the wand. I love that. Put down the sword and take the magician's wand. The chariot here, this is the magician in action. So we've realized our potential to manifest whatever this is, freedom from the pain of that emotion, stagnating, and we're putting it into action. This allows us to actually use the wand, use our manifesting ability. Okay, what else here in what we are in the difficulty? In the challenge for Leo, please. Rest, listen to your body, mentally and physically unwind. Since we had the Four of Swords here too, and what we don't see coming or what's unknown, maybe you're having a hard time resting. Insomnia, restless legs, maybe even. You go down to take a nap and your mind just starts racing. I feel like this is because that energy, that emotion needs to flow. It needs to go where it needs to go. It's just sitting and spinning inside of our experience. And it shocks. Like I said, we're going to have a bad time. Okay. I'm going to pull a Medicine Heart Oracle here to close this off, Leo. I'm not doing extendeds on the signs here at this time. So this will be it. What do we have? Last message, please, for Leo. Leo. What else does Leo need to know? Collective of the Southwest. Whale medicine. We had the whale here as your block. Okay. Whale medicine mentor evokes the song in your soul that needs to be sung. Oh my gosh. With your heart. The unstruck sound. This is, yeah, your song, you guys. Whale moves slowly. As you tend to your inner work and visionary dreaming, there may be a lull in responsiveness from the world around you. Do not fight your own process. There's that Five of Swords. Trust your inner path will yield divine dividends with grace. Your song shall be heard, emanating high frequency manifestations. Ooh. And this is waiting just on the other side of that expression, whatever that rage is coming from, that needs to be purged from our experience. I know a lot of people, 33 on the timer, a lot of people like to stay in this land of, oh, I'm only light, I'm only positive, I'm only this. The problem with that is that what we resist persists, and that includes anything in our shadow. So if we are not squarely sitting with our own experience, it's not being sat with. And it's causing distress, okay? Even if it's a slow burn. Don't be afraid of yourself, Leo. You're very powerful and beautiful. Okay? I love you guys, and I hope that this message is helpful. I do have personal readings open and available right now. I may be taking a break here in the next couple of weeks because it has been very busy, which I very much appreciate, you guys. But if you're looking for some more personal help there, I would recommend getting in sooner rather than later. I'll probably be taking a break here in July. I do have spots open for my personal mentorship as well. If you want to take a look at that, links are in the description of the video as well as pinned comment. I do have PayPal down there too, and super thanks is always welcome for donations. Thank you guys so much to those who do support the channel in that way. I love you. I love you, Leo. Please take care of yourself, and I'll see you all very soon. Be well.